Yes, greetings, what's up? This is Farrakhan, Big Farrakhan of Nobi Show, Nation of Black Entrepreneurs, and I am in the heart of Brooklyn, USA, downtown Brooklyn, 647 Fulton Street. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I would like to thank those for supporting me. Definitely, check out Black Billionaires on Nobi. Black Billionaires from Oprah all the way down to the heart of Africa. I want to share the list of black billionaires. It's a gather of online research. Definitely short, simple. 28 minutes, baby. Some things you didn't know about black billionaires doing it. You'd be surprised on how they did it. So it's definitely an educational, but yet fun-filled activities. Also do a little bit of Banking Black and a little bit of facts for entrepreneurs here and there. So I definitely hope you definitely will enjoy. If you have any questions, hit me up. Email me at nationofbe at gmail.com, or just find me on your local listeners on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Farrakhan Norris is the name. Peace and blessings. The clock is ticking. I gotta show that Rockaway, that New Year's gift. The clock is ticking, but brothers and sisters, make it happen. I thank you very much for the opportunity. Alright, so definitely check out my series on Brick, and also it's going to be on Eminent as well, Black Billionaires. Also MLK, check out the list, and I have a whole list of different shows, so check me out. I'm on YouTube as well. Peace and blessings. One.
Man, what's going on, man? It's your boy David Jones, the editing monster, you feel me? I want to give a big shout out to my man Farrakhan, man, for doing this thing, man. Noble TV on everything across the globe, you hear me? Go check it out.
What's up, this is your girl Shawana. Currently I'm working on The Monarch of Jenga. It's an African superhero book that I'm working on, but I want to turn it into a film. I'm a producer here. Thank you, Farrakhan, for letting me do my thing. Nation of Black Entrepreneurs Forever. Please watch his show, tune in, Brick TV, Farrakhan Norris, you the man. Thank you so much for everything. Later.
Yes, peace and blessings, black people. What's up? I know y'all saw Panther. I know y'all saw Black Panther out there. Right now, this is part 2 of the first drop. Shout out to all the staff at Just Us Barbershop and Best Style. Got my kids right around the block. Picked them up, but why not? Already went to Best Style Fresh Fry, so I'm gonna keep it simple. Got my man G hitting me up with a haircut. You know what I'm saying? But definitely support Black Dollars, Black History Month on Brooklyn Free Speech. So shout out to all the producers. Be Free Awards, go get that, support Farrakhan. I'm nominated for an award as well. So, but we're gonna get popping Wednesdays and Fridays on internationally on the BrickArtsMedia.org channel 3. But thank you very much. Peace and blessings. Just Us, that's the logo. Support Brooklyn. Best stop. Peace. Clock is ticking, man. Alright, Sean John Ross. Make it happen, man. Peace and blessings. One.
In this world, there are a lot of things that are beyond our control. But what you do have control over is how you react to whatever happens in your life. What I now know is that we all become exactly what you believe. So if you believe that you can do all things because you have been endowed by a power from on high, given to you by the grace of God, if you believe that, you walk into the world understanding that whatever problems you may encounter, you still have God to lean on. As I grew, my perception and understanding of what God means grew with me. I expanded my view of what it means to be a citizen of the universe, to be a part of the energy field that is omnipotent, omniscient, all-knowing, and all-present in all things. And so my confidence comes from knowing that there is something greater than myself, that I am a part of and is also a part of me. I call that God, but I do nothing without that understanding. How I think one masters one's life is to understand that you are co-creating that life with the ultimate creator. Not understanding that puts you at your own pitiful, meager little will. And everything is left up to you. And you can't do it. You cannot survive in this world by yourself, just believing in yourself. You're not big enough to do it. I'm not big enough to do it. Nobody's big enough to do it. You have to understand that your very presence here as a human being on earth came from something greater than you. And not just your parents who wanted to have a child. The fact that that egg was hit by that particular little sperm in that particular moment, and you were created. Wow. How amazing is that? Of all the different choices that had to happen in order for you to be here now. What a celebration that is. So when you recognize the mystery of that creation, all the circumstances that had to configure and reconfigure themselves, all the questions that we don't have answers to, you have to know this: the fact that I'm here matters. And the fact that you're there matters. This is no accident. None of us are. When you do well, people notice. When you do your best, people notice. And so wherever you are, always do your best, and doing your best puts you at the next level. Nothing about my life is lucky. Nothing. A lot of grace, a lot of blessings, a lot of divine order, but I don't believe in luck. For me, luck is preparation, meeting the moment of opportunity. There is no luck without you being prepared to handle that moment of opportunity. And so what I would say for myself is that because of my hand in a hand and a force greater than my own, I have been prepared in ways that I didn't even know I was being prepared for. And the truth is, for me and for every person, every single thing that has ever happened in your life is preparing you for the moment that is to come. A lot of people don't know their purpose. And if you don't know your purpose, your immediate goal is to figure that out, because otherwise you're just wandering around here. So the moment you can figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing, the sooner you are able to get about the business of doing that. The universe speaks to us always, first, in whispers. And a whisper usually in your life feels like, that's odd. Or, that doesn't make any sense. Or, is that right? It just really feels like that. It's that kind of subtle. And if you don't pay attention to the whisper, it gets louder and louder and louder. And I say, it's like getting thumped upside the head. You don't pay attention to that. It's like getting a brick upside your head. You don't pay attention to that, the brick wall falls down. Life is about growth and change. When you are no longer doing that, that is your whisper. That is your whisper that I am supposed to do something else. I am interested in seeing what the rest of the world has to offer me. Anybody pretending to be anything other than who you really are, you will never, ever reach your personal potential. You cannot do it. I have known for a very long time that I am a blessed person, and that to whom much is given, much is also required. That you can't have all of this and not use it for something that is for the greater good. Your intention rules your life and determines the outcome. Every time it would happen, I would say to my team, well, doesn't matter, because every season somebody else was coming out. One talk show, two talk shows, three talk shows. There have been over 100 talk shows since we started. But every time, I would feel like, all right, got to step up our game, got to step up our game. The way you step up your game is not to worry about the other guy in any situation, because you can't control the other guy. You cannot control the other guy. You only have control over yourself. So it's like running a race. The energy that it takes to look back and see where the other guys are takes energy away from you. And if they're too close, it scares you. So that's what I would say to my team all the time. Don't waste your time in the race looking back to see where the other guy is or what the other guy is doing. It's not about the other guy. It's about what can you do. You just need to run that race as hard as you can. You need to give it everything you've got all the time for yourself. For yourself. What I know is you got to take responsibility for the space you hold here. And understand that the third law of motion, which says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, that is my religion. That is the fundamental construct of my religion. And by that, I mean, I know that every thought that I think, every thought that I have that moves into action is going to create an opposite and equal reaction. So everything that I put out into the world is going to come back. It's the golden rule on steroids. The golden rule on steroids. It's true that as you do unto others, they will do unto you. It's already done. There's an energy field, there's an energy flow that I strongly feel in my own life. And I know lots of other people who do. You're either in flow or out of it. And if you're in flow, it's like this. It's like this. All the time, it's like this. It's like flowing with the stream. And the flow is in direct proportion to the center of yourself, where God abides, where universal energy abides, where the divine within you abides. How far you are from the center, from the divineness of yourself, from your connection to source energy, that which created you, is how out of sync you are with your life, regardless of what you call it. When you can align with that, nobody can touch you. Gary Zukov calls that authentic power. In his book, Seed of the Soul, he says, when your personality comes to serve the energy of your soul, that is authentic power. And that's the only real power there is, because you're going to lose everything else. I don't care how beautiful you are. One day, your breasts are going to sag and your eyes are going to bag and you're not going to be as beautiful. And it doesn't matter how much Botox and how many times you get yourself pulled up and how many hairdos and how many makeovers or what you do, you know, that doesn't last. It's just like the most beautiful flowering tree. Everything passes and it's time. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much power you have, how high you sit on the Forbes list, how many times you make the most influential lists. All of that changes. All of that changes. But what is real, what is lasting, is who you are and what you were meant to bring. What is the gift you were meant to give? And nobody can take that.
You work for Mr. Dunn down at the rest home, ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
Wonder what old Dunn will say when I tell him one of his gals down here stirring a fuss.
I ain't stirring no fuss. I'm just here trying to register to vote.
Recite the Constitution's preamble. You know what a preamble is?
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union.
How many county judges in Alabama?
67.
You all deliberately causing an obstruction. If you don't disperse, you're gonna be arrested. I promise you.
Sheriff Clark, we're trying to gain access to the registration office, which is our legal right.
There's too many of you. You know damn well there is. Now y'all just gonna have to wait at the rear.
No, Sheriff Clark. We're going in the front. We're gonna wait right here. Segregation is now illegal in this country, sir.
Come on. Keep this sidewalk clear. Clear path. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get the hell out of the way. Keep the sidewalk clear. I said keep it clear.
Okay, we about to sit him down. He can't sit.
Well, he needs to learn.
He gonna sit.
Sit down, goddammit.
Hey, Pop. I just told you he can't sit.
Well, what we got here? Hey, son, wait a minute. Hold. What's going on here, boy? What we got here? What we got?
Oh, Mama, I'm sick of this.
Jimmy, don't do it. Do you have a problem?
I'm sick of this. I just told you.
Jimmy, what you think, boy? What you think? Jimmy. What the fuck are you thinking?
Listen, Jimmy, listen.
I'm working. Black! Get that nigger woman!
Throw that nigga bitch!
Get your hands off me.
Tolerate a bunch of Negro agitators attempting to orchestrate a disturbance in this state.
Tired, Ralphie. Tiring of this.
Eyes on the prize, Martin.
Yeah, but what is the prize, friend? We fight to have a seat at whatever table we want. How does it help a black man to be able to eat at a lunch counter if he doesn't earn enough to buy the burger? Or worse yet, can't even read the menu because there was no Negro school where he's from. What is that? Is that equality?
Amen.
And what about in our minds? Equality in the black psyche. I mean, look at these men. Beaten and broken down for generations. Deciding to demand more? What happens when a man stands up, says enough is enough? Look at Medical. Murdered the man in his own driveway. Kids and wife right there inside the house.
George and Herbert Lee. Lamar Smith.
Man stands up only to be struck down. And what happens to the people he led? What are we doing, Ralphie?
We take it piece by piece, like we've been doing. We build the path as we can, rock by rock.
His cell is probably bugged.
It probably is. No, Lord.
They're gonna ruin me so they can ruin this movement. They are.
Look at the birds of the air. That they do not sow, nor reap, nor gather into barns. And yet your heavenly Father doth feed them. Are you not worth much more than they? And who are you by being worried? Can add a single hour to his life.
Matthew 6, verse 27.
All right.
Yes, sir.
As the first African-American billionaire, Oprah Winfrey has been dubbed the Queen of all media and named by Forbes magazine as the most powerful celebrity of 2013.
Oprah Winfrey is truly a force of nature.
Born on January 29, 1954, in rural Mississippi to an unmarried teen mother, Oprah Winfrey grew up in poverty but became a high school honor student who garnered a full scholarship to Tennessee State University.
Oprah Winfrey has got to be one of the greatest role models for young women. She's somebody who, against the odds, was able to achieve an incredible amount of success.
In 1976, Winfrey hosted a TV chat show in Baltimore, and 6 years later, she became a ratings success in Chicago. By 1986, The Oprah Winfrey Show displaced Donahue as the #1 daytime talk show in America and grossed $125 million in its first year.
The reason Oprah Winfrey Show became #1 is that she was the first host to put her own personal life on the line. She would talk about anything, her weight loss, her problems with addiction, her troubled childhood. Oprah really let us feel like we really knew her.
I think every year you're trying to reinvent yourself and you stay in touch with what other people are doing, thinking, feeling. I have always felt that my instinct and ability to connect with the audience was what carried us.
Besides producing and starring in television shows and films, such as The Color Purple and Lee Daniels' The Butler, Winfrey used the power of her program to launch the careers of best-selling authors and a variety of TV personalities.
Being endorsed by Oprah Winfrey is really like winning the golden ticket to success. Experts that she's had on her show on a regular basis, from Dr. Phil to Dr. Oz to Rachel Ray to Susie Orman, all of these guys have scored their own talk shows. When Oprah puts her stamp of approval on you, then the world approves of you.
Winfrey launched O Magazine in 2000, co-authored 5 books, and premiered Oprah Radio on Sirius Satellite in 2009. 2 years later, she announced the end of her talk show and launched the Oprah Winfrey Network.
There are many words that could describe Oprah Winfrey. You'd have to use all of them because one wouldn't work. She is an entertainer, she's an educator, she's a philanthropist. The list goes on and on.
Heralded by Life magazine as the most influential woman of her generation, Winfrey has ranked among the 50 most generous Americans. In 2013, Winfrey received the Presidential Medal of Freedom and had a net worth in excess of $2.9 billion.
She's gotta love it.
Let's talk about the creation of Oscar.
Okay.
And how that came about. How I heard that the script was written with you in mind.
Yeah, and that was a first. A bit overwhelming at first because I didn't want to let anybody down. You know, when they had expectations. You know, and I didn't want to. I wanted to meet them and exceed them.
Different playing somebody who's real.
It is. It's especially meeting the family, especially his little girl, Tatiana, his daughter. You know, knowing one day that she's gonna watch the film, and I just wanted to do him justice the best way we could. Just being truthful and being honest, you know, playing him as a human being, not painting him as a perfect person and not painting him as this, you know, this thug who deserved to die, you know? And
isn't it interesting that you were on your computer when this actually happened?
Yes,
that you were on your computer.
Facebook. Somebody posted the video on my wall, and it was just, I thought it was, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe this actually happened. So I watched it probably more times than I should. Yeah. Just trying to find a reason, you know, like what did he do to deserve to be shot?
To be shot.
You know, fast forward 4 years later, Trayvon Martin, you know, happened. And literally 2 weeks later, I get approached by, you know, my agent with the script for Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station was written and directed by first-time filmmaker Ryan Coogler, who was 26 years old at the time when he directed this film. Forrest Whitaker was one of the movie's producers.
Forrest Whitaker gave me, you know, the best advice I had before, you know,
Don't we love Forrest Whitaker?
I love him, Uncle Forrest.
Okay.
It's like he's amazing. And even though he was filming, he always made himself available. Without him, you know, this doesn't get made. No, he basically said you can't you can't imitate anything. You have to be a representation of who Oscar was and what he is. And that was kind of my approach.
Did you set out with an intention, or you and Ryan set out with an intention to show a different dimension to this guy? Because in the end, you really, this is what I love so much about Fruitvale, is you come away with a deeper sense of Oscar's humanity.
Yes.
As you think, this was a human being. This was a human being.
A young man
A
at
young
22.
man at 22.
A lot of people don't pay attention to that. You know,
Yeah.
like at 22, what do you really know? And of course he made mistakes. He was flawed. I think we're all flawed. And we just wanted to show all those sides, you know, and it was definitely something premeditated. We
That
definitely
incident
thought
with the
that
dog, did that really happen?
No, the dog's the only one that he wrote. But, you know, black males, we are America's pit bull. You know, we're labeled vicious, you know, inhumane, you know, and left to die on the street. And that was kind of like that scene specifically was kind of like a symbolism, you know, for that.
Like who will help?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, Oscar was kind of left for dead. So many of us, you know, young African-American males left for dead, you know. So it's, we get branded a lot, you know, like being vicious, being, you know, not human. So we wanted to show the humanity.
The humanity.
Today, all new.
Never in 25 years have we ever welcomed a sitting president and First Lady.
President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama.
What do you know for sure about marriage? I understand you're also a basketball coach. What has been the best moment you all had to share as a family? Watching Malia and Sasha meet the Pope.
A landmark hour.
Would you say there are Republicans you admire? What do you want your legacy to be?
Next.
Wowza. Okay. Air Force One has landed in Chicago. The presidential motorcade just pulled into our studios on Carpenter Street. Everybody in the building has been screened and cleared for what is an historic moment for our show. So let's all just take this in for a moment. In 25 years, we have never had the leader of the free world, a sitting president, and First Lady together on our stage. And I am so honored that in these remaining days of the Oprah show, they chose to be here. Please welcome home President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama! Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Hello.
It's so nice to be here. She's been having all the fun coming here, so I said, I'm gonna crash the party too.
The fact that you all said you would be willing to come, it's such an honor for me and everybody who works here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We are thrilled to be here. It's always nice to find an excuse to come home.
Yeah. Does it still feel like home, or does it feel like a place you used to live?
No, it still feels like home. Our closest friends are here.
Our family's here.
Our family's here. Our house is here. And the house is very clean because nobody's
They don't live there. So will you go to the house today?
Not today.
You won't go by the house?
Well, I'm going to try to get back in time for dinner with the girls.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an expectation.
Yes.
And he's got other stuff to do. You know,
Yes.
the president's
Other things to do. But
I
when
don't know
you're-
what it is.
When you're flying in, though, does it feel like, oh, we're going home?
Yeah.
it does.
But it is fun to fly over the skyline and, you know.
It's still, don't you think it's still one of the prettiest skylines in the world?
Greatest city in the world.
Greatest city in the world.
Greatest city in the world.
I think so, too.
And clean.
And so clean.
And so clean.
And before you came today, you had a press conference.
I did.
By the time this airs, it will be all over the world that you outed the birth certificate. You let us see the birth certificate.
He was born here.
Yes, and that it's confirmed again that you are born once again in the United States. Why did you wait so long, though?
You know, keep in mind what had happened. This came up about two and a half years ago. And so we called up the folks in Hawaii and the Department of Health.
When it first came up, were you thinking, I hope I was born here? What were you?
Can I just say I was there. So I knew that I knew I'd been born there. I remembered it.
Of course you did.
So it came up 2.5 years ago, and I didn't take it very seriously. I thought, well, this is kind of a silly thing. But we still posted what the state of Hawaii provides, which is a certification of live birth. It's essentially a copy of the actual birth certificate, and we posted that, and we explained how there were a birth announcement in the Honolulu Advertiser back in 1961, and it seemed unlikely that my 18-year-old mother had plotted at the time, saying, you know what, he's going to be president, and so let's pay off the newspapers. So we assumed that this would just kind of go away. And then it kept on building, and I was amused by it. We would joke about it.
I wasn't.
She wasn't.
You weren't amused by it. What were you saying about it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. So the bottom line is this, though. 2 weeks ago, a huge debate was initiated around where our budget needs to go. And during the course of this major debate, where I gave a big speech and the Republicans voted on their proposal, the biggest news was this birth certificate thing. And my general point is this. We are living in a very serious time, and America has huge potential and opportunity to seize the 21st century. We're only going to get there, though, if we have a serious conversation about the things that matter to people. Jobs and gas prices, and how do we bring down the deficit, and how do we deal with all the changes going around the world. And we can't be distracted by sideshows and, as I said at my press conference, carnival barkers who are going around trying to get attention instead of actually solving problems.
Do you think that there's a disconnection in general in terms of sideshows and carnival barkers? I asked that of both of you.
Well, I think what's happened is that the line between entertainment and politics has blurred. And so reality TV is seeping into how we think about our politics. And, you know, when I am reading letters at night about families who are at risk of losing their homes, or describing to me what it's like when you send out 16 resumes and you're not getting a response back, and you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills. It's not reality TV. That's real. And that's what we have to spend some time about.
You know, during the civil rights movement, I remember there was this wonderful documentary called Eyes on the Prize. And there was a phrase where we talked often about keeping our eyes on the prize. Do you think that the American people have lost a sense of what the prize is, and therefore lost our focus?
I don't think that the American people have lost their sense of what the prize is, but in terms of our collective political conversation, I think we get distracted all the time.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that I've always loved about my husband is that he's always been the person that can keep his eye on the prize in the midst of some craziness. And I think that's what makes him a special leader.
You know, I woke up this morning, I was thinking, first of all, excited that you were coming. And I was thinking about every human being wakes up on the planet with the hope for that day to have as few problems as possible. You don't get that. That you wake up and all of our problems become your problems. How do you compartmentalize and categorize them in such a way that you can carry that burden? Because you still are, first and foremost, a human being who has this role that we elected you to as President of the United States. But how do you do that?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to remember that I'm not there alone.
Yes.
I mean, I've got this incredible staff, an incredible cabinet. You've got people who don't get any notice, they don't get any publicity, who do great work. There's a bunch of people in our government who are every day thinking, how do we do a good job on behalf of our customers, the American people? And I don't think they get enough
That's right,
credit.
we're your customers.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes.
You and our bosses.
Yeah.
And so that inspires me.
But the truth
and
is
then I pray a lot.
Like on your knees, pray?
Sometimes.
Okay.
You know, Abraham Lincoln said if you weren't praying before you were president,
it'll make a believer in prayer out of you, right? Yeah. Do you pray?
Yeah, we do. We do every day. We pray before our meals. We're trying to get the girls into good habits of being thankful and grateful. So we try to give back what we get, because we know that there are a whole lot of people praying for us. That we know. Everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
We know.
But back to the question of how you prioritize. Do you wish you had started with the economy and not with health care? If you had to do it over?
Well, Oprah, I've got to tell you, we did start with the economy. Remember, the first thing we did was pass a Recovery Act that
kept us from being in the breadlines.
Kept us from going into a Great Depression. It cut taxes for 95% of Americans. It provided states with the assistance they needed to prevent layoffs of teachers and firefighters and police officers. And then we also put people to work rebuilding our roads and our bridges all across the country. So that was our first priority, along with making sure that the financial system didn't melt down.
On Facebook, when you had that big conference recently, you were saying that these are the most tumultuous times that you've ever witnessed in your lifetime. And we all know that the country has been through more difficult times. There have been wars and other challenges. What do you think defines this as the most tumultuous?
What's happening is that there are these big global changes, and the world is more integrated because of technology. We know what's happening on the other side of the world instantly.
And that's a good thing.
And that's a good thing. But what it also means is that if there is a problem one place, it can move around the globe very rapidly. So what happens in Libya suddenly affects oil prices here. What happens because of a subprime loan in California can cause Iceland to be bankrupt. And so you've got all these different forces moving very rapidly all at the same time.
Have you been disappointed at how difficult it is to get things done?
It can be painful to watch. But, you know, Barack was in the Senate for many years, and I think he had a taste of how challenging it is when you work in a democracy. And that's one of the beauties of our country. We have a democracy, which means, I always tease people, Barack is not a dictator, and that's a good thing. So he can't just go in and say, healthcare shall be, and now let's go and implement it. It requires congressional cooperation and a whole range of cooperative actions that make our country great, but it makes the process difficult and slower than I think many people would like. But I think the alternative is not something that we want as a nation. We've made that decision.
We'll be back more with the President and First Lady when we come back.
Coming up.
So you're officially running again in 2012?
Michelle has always had veto power.
I should use it more.
Oprah Winfrey was born in Mississippi to unwed teenage parents in 1954. After a difficult adolescence living with her mother, she came under the supervision of her strict father in Nashville. The public learned years later just how difficult those times were when she revealed on her show that she was sexually abused as a child by male relatives and friends of her mother. Things improved for Oprah when she turned 18 and won the Miss Black Tennessee beauty pageant. The win led to a part-time news position on a black radio station. In 1976, she moved to Baltimore to host a program called People Are Talking. After 8 years on the show, she was recruited by a Chicago TV station to do AM Chicago, which would eventually become The Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah's popularity led to a role in the Steven Spielberg film The Color Purple, for which she earned an Academy Award nomination. By 1986, The Oprah Winfrey Show was syndicated on over 100 channels across the country. She was a phenomenon.
Oprah's great talent is understanding where middle America is. The Oprah Show has never been about elitism. It's been about reaching the broad section of where American middle class, middle American women are.
A year later, her top-rated talk show, which was owned by her production company Harpo, was bringing in $125 million a year. Although her show looked similar to her competitors, Oprah did offer something unique. While other daytime gabfests focused on trashy topics, Oprah stayed above the fray, focusing on self-help issues. Her approach worked, as millions of viewers began hanging on her every word. As impressive as her top-rated show was, what makes Oprah truly unique is the influence she has over her fans. When she started Oprah's book club, just about every title she selected shot to the top of the bestseller list. She would appear on Time magazine's Most Influential People list every year from 2004 through 2007. In 1999, the Oprah brand continued to grow as she co-founded Oxygen Media, dedicated to programming for women, and introduced O Magazine, which became an instant success. As Oprah's influence grew, so did her bank account, as she became a billionaire and the richest self-made woman in America, according to Forbes.
Oprah Winfrey is an incredibly talented and charismatic entrepreneur.
In 2007, Oprah opened the South African Leadership Academy for Girls, but the school was soon the center of a sexual abuse scandal. Oprah used her typical hands-on approach to make sure the screening process for staff was changed and improvements were made. As her empire continues to grow, with magazines, radio channels, and the Oprah Winfrey Network, this media icon has achieved a level of success and influence like nothing ever seen before in popular culture.
Celebrating a unique graduation, each of these students has experienced poverty, some violence, others sexual abuse. They've all been given a first-class education and are the first to graduate from an academy set up by one of the world's wealthiest, most influential women. Tabita Ramatwala has a scholarship to study medicine in America. She knows her skills will be needed here.
We've been taught leadership skills, and we know that with that we can't ignore service, and service is a big part of leadership. So we have to come to our country, it needs us.
These young women are the lucky ones. The reality for thousands of other students is a substandard education, often in schools without clean water or electricity, let alone enough books or good quality teachers. Although a record high percentage of students in South Africa passed their final exams last year, a pass mark can be as low as 30%, raising questions over the quality of education in this country. One lobby group plans to sue the government for failing to provide poor communities with good schools.
All learners have to sit in one exam, whilst we acknowledge that there are inequalities and the poor quality education, mainly in rural and township schools. But we haven't done a lot to change that as a country, and it's a problem because we are setting up these learners for failure.
Winfrey hopes her academy inspires.
This model was created specifically to say to South Africa, if you invest in leadership, not just in schools, not just in passing tests, not just in trying to get the exams, but you invest in leadership, the leadership will pay off.
For Tabita and her friends, the future is bright and the possibilities endless. Yeah! Tania Page, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2011.
So there were many days during these past 5 years where I asked myself, what were you thinking? What were you thinking you could build a school 8,000 miles away, that you could take girls from townships and rural areas and put them all under one roof with the expectation that you will not only succeed, but you will excel? What were you thinking? I was thinking about this day. I was thinking about this day with them walking in triumph across this stage in their white dresses. I know that education is the door to freedom. So I want to do that for girls who come from backgrounds like my own, who have disadvantaged circumstances, but no disadvantaged attitudes or brain power or spirit. I want to give them the chance that I was given. I must say to every parent here, every grandmother, every mother, every father, every aunt, every uncle, every guardian who stepped in when somebody lost their mother or father or grandmother. You have raised remarkable girls. And we thank you for trusting us, for believing that we could honor what you've already started. And then I must say to you, as you move into the world, I would just hope that you would know that you are smart, not just smart. You are brilliant, inside and out. And I have never been more proud to know, to grow, and to call myself Mom Oprah to you girls. I am one proud mama today.
My minister, Queen Mother, all dignitaries here. I think the most celebrated dignitaries are these young ladies. And because of that, you'll allow me just to talk to them. Let me dare to say that the change which took place here in 5 years, it translates the change of centuries of the struggles, because the idea was exactly to reach that level where a woman, a young woman, can claim her identity and say, here I am. This is the highest measure of success, that these children can stand and say, here I am. I claim my humanity with no fear and no limits. And no one can take it from them. And I want to say to you, Oprah, to the leadership of this school, teachers, to psychologists, social workers, to parents, to whoever participates in this, say, well done. Really well done. Well done.
I am because we are. It's truly the spirit of Ubuntu. That's what this journey has been. I started out giving as an offering to Nelson Mandela and the country of South Africa. And what the experience has given to me has fulfilled me, has emboldened me, has nourished me, has empowered me as a human being, as a mother that I didn't know I was, has helped me in my own journey. and help me to know that we are all really on the same journey and the same path. I am, because we are. So we're here in your grandmother's house. I know you live in a mansion, literally, the definition of a mansion. It's 52 rooms.
Yeah.
That's unimaginable.
Yeah, it's a small hotel. And you know what you learn?
It's a small hotel. Are you rumbling around in there by yourself?
Yeah, when I do go there now, because in the beginning, I had that homeboy complex where I wanted everybody to be around me. That was from like the neighborhood, everybody, my friends and stuff. And it was big enough for everybody to be there and for to not be up under me. Like I have my space at the same time.
Oh, is that what that's called, the homeboy complex?
You know, you still want to roll with 50 people outside, you know, and everybody got to, you know, you get in free pass. So
and I was going to say, now, don't you call that hangers on?
Yeah.
Yes, or sycophants.
It changes, and then now I don't need it.
Now you don't have that.
No, I needed it at that point. It was confirmation of success.
50 Cent bought his 52-room mansion in 2003 for $4.1 million. The Farmington, Connecticut house, which sits mostly empty these days, has 25 bathrooms, an indoor and an outdoor pool, a screening room, dance club, casino, recording studio, 2 basketball courts, and even a customized 50 Cent pool table. It's been on and off the market since 2007. If you're interested, the asking price today, $10 million. Does it ever concern you, considering what happened to Mike Tyson? You're in the house, he's not in the house anymore. Does it ever concern you with as much money as you have?
It's a consistent reminder.
Yeah.
That regardless of how much you've actually, you know, you've financially accumulated, that Mike earned over $400 million. He sold the property to me when he couldn't keep it. You know, so it keeps you conscious of it. And I never understand how, like, artists are getting a great situation and then not have time to count money. Like, I have plenty of time. I'll sit there, I'll count the money with the accountant and say, I'm paying you, so I have a second count.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm gonna count it first, and then we're gonna see if your number's right.
Yeah.
You know, like, I never have issues with that part. Like, that's the security.
So
like,
you meet with the money people.
Right.
Now, it's been rumored that you're dating Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually talk about who I'm dating, who I'm not, because I think it's important that I concentrate on the music. And when you start talking about those things, then that becomes bigger than the art.
You know what? That was going to be my advice to you. I mean, I was sitting up with the producer and I said, I'm going to tell her to keep her mouth shut about her relationship because it should be private.
Thank you very much.
And I wish if I had it to do all over again, I would have never mentioned what's his name's name. I really never would have. I think it's the smartest thing in the world to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really, really. It's nobody's business but yours and his.
Oh, I love you.
Yours is true. It really is. Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited to give you an update about our own YouTube channel. Now you can find new videos every day. They're the kind of videos that will make you look at life differently. They may even make you laugh a little bit. Subscribe to the OWN channel today, and we'll see you on YouTube.
With the world.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
That's the single, Run This Town, featuring Rihanna and Kanye West off of Jay-Z's new CD, The Blueprint 3, in stores now. Now, you discovered Rihanna, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So I noticed you stayed out of the whole Chris Brown, Rihanna thing. But you obviously had some thoughts about it.
Yeah, I pretty much spoke to Rihanna about it. It was one of those situations because she's young. You know, they're both young. And it was either a situation where she can grow, and it's a contention of young people that's going through the same sort of situation and no one hears their voice.
Right.
She can be their hero, or she can choose not to grow from this. And that's pretty much our conversation.
Okay. So, you know, I've been, you know, known for not being a big fan of rap music because of misogynist lyrics and because of the use of the N-word. And in the magazine, we discussed the use of the N-word and why I feel, everybody knows that I feel that we shouldn't be, you know, singing the N-word. You obviously feel differently. And
a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit. And tell everybody why.
What we discuss is more of words. People give words power.
Yeah.
You know, and for our generation, what we did was we took the word and we took the power out of that word. You know, we turned a word that was very ugly and hurtful into a term of endearment. So, I mean, even when someone says, there's still intention behind what you say. But pretty much took the power out of the word. Because if we just start removing words from the dictionary, just make up another word the next day. So we don't address the problem. The problem is racism, right? That's really the problem.
So we disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I said is, I guess my generation's just going to have to die out. We're just going to have to all just be dead. And then this morning I was saying, well, from the grave, I'll be go, Jay, I still disagree. And the reason,
you don't have to say that.
And the reason I feel that way, because my generation and generations before me, obviously, coming up through the civil rights movement, and I am where I am because there was a generation before me that fought for civil rights, and that word carries such a sense of hatred and degradation. And I always think about when I hear the word, even when I'm at the concert and people are, you know, screaming it at your concert, I think about black men who were lynched, and that's the last word they heard. And so that comes from my generation.
Right.
Okay. So, okay, we agree to disagree.
No, which is a strong point, understandable.
Okay. I disagree. We disagree. Okay, when Beyonce was here, she taught me her bootylicious move from the Crazy in Love video. Okay?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. And now I understand Jay is going to show me how to rap.
Yeah.
I'd say you have your work cut out for you. It's going to be a lot harder than me doing the bootylicious move, but okay. So how are you going to teach me? Because I don't have that gift.
Well, it's very simple. We're just going to pick a topic that's dear to you.
Okay.
And your guest.
And my guest.
Which is me.
Okay. Okay.
And we're going to...
Okay. We're going to stand up and do it?
Yeah, come on.
Are you better standing up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you had a track, boom, 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 it's almost like double dutch. You got to stay in the middle of that.
I wasn't good at double dutch either. It's not. I could never get the double dutch thing.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Little boy from Brooklyn, made it from the star. Girl out the South, made it to the shots. Okay, I'm freestyling this.
Okay,
so.
okay. You just making it up right now?
Here we go. Little
what am
boy
I
from
supposed to
Brooklyn,
do?
Made it out the star. Girl from out the South, made it out the shy. Made it out the shy. Girl from out this, made it out the shy. Only goes to show that the limit is the sky. If they give you lemons, then you make lemon pie. Me, I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay.
That's Sty, so I made it out the Sty. You from out the South, you made it to the Shy.
Made it to the Shy.
Chi-town.
Got it.
Only goes to show.
Only goes to show.
That the limit is the sky.
Only goes to show that the limit is the sky.
Life give you lemons and you make...
Lemon pie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, okay?
Start the beat over. I'm from Brooklyn, the Sty.
I'm Sty.
I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, hey.
That's okay. Well, you're gonna start it, right?
Okay. Little boy from Brooklyn, made it from the start. Girl from out the south, made it to the shop. To the shop.
Made it to the shy.
Yeah, made it to the shop. You don't need the hand, just
okay.
Yeah. You know, just keep it smooth. You know, swag, get your swag. Yeah. Boy from out Brooklyn, made it from the start. Girl from down south, made it to the shop. Only go to show that the limit is the sky. Life give you lemons, then you make lemon
pie. The October issue of O Magazine featuring Jay-Z on newsstands now. His new album, The Blueprint 3, is also available in stores. Thank you, Jay-Z.
Thank you.
Make lemon pie. We'll be right back. Make lemon pie. Coming up, the legendary Barbra Streisand. That's next.
Someone happy.
Yo, this is Big Man from Big Man Entertainment, Big Man TV show. And I want to make a shout out to my man Farrakhan, my brother, and No BTV.
This is Ron Smith, Star Talent Showcase. The showcase is in the house. I'm the host, producer of the fastest growing, widely known in 148 countries, Star Talent Showcase. And you're watching my man Farrakhan on No BTV. Brooklyn, free speech in the house. You better tune in. The showcase starts now.
I would like to pick up Farrakhan, Black Entrepreneurs, Noble TV. God bless.
What's going on, man? It's your boy David Jones, the editing monster, you feel me? I want to give a big shout out to my man Farrakhan, man, for doing this thing, man. Noble TV on everything across the globe, you hear me? Go check it out.
It's an African superhero book that I'm working on, but I want to turn it into a film. I'm a producer here. Thank you, Farrakhan, for letting me do my thing. Nation of Black Entrepreneurs Forever. Please watch his show, tune in, Brick TV. Farrakhan Norris, you the man. Thank you so much for everything. Later.
Brian